Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst. And hey, thanks for tuning in on this beautiful Saturday. It's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. I love that today I get to continue this conversation on how to become your own physician, your own healer, your own doctor, taking the responsibility of your health into your own hands and ushering in this year, each year, new life, abundance, healing, true health. I'm not just talking about being symptom-free. I'm talking about revolutionizing your approach to health care by becoming your own doctor. And in order to do that, we have to learn, and we have to grow, and we have to educate ourselves. And so today, I have an incredible health hour, mostly at the request of a lot of you saying, please talk about this thing called adrenal fatigue. And so we're going to do that. It's crazy how this little tiny gland, whoops, where did it go? There it goes. How this little tiny gland called your adrenal gland that's about the size of a walnut, little tiny guy sitting on top of your kidneys, can have such a profound and massive impact onto your health. So much so that what you might actually be diagnosed with may be a sort of superficial layer to the cause being an adrenal fatigue syndrome, or where your adrenal glands have started tapping out. They're saying like, hey, we can't keep up the slack anymore. So I want to talk about this controversial topic. And the reason I say it's controversial is if you're to walk into your classic medical physician and say, hey, doc, I think I have adrenal fatigue. Can you test me for this? Most of the time, they're going to either scoff at you or say, that doesn't really exist, or, you don't have that. You have diabetes or heart disease, etc. And I'd like to say it's for two unfortunate reasons. Reason number one, we, medically, do not have a prescription therapy for adrenal fatigue. There is no, here's your prescription pill to solve your adrenal issues and to fix all of your energy and your brain fog and your joint pain, etc. Number two, medically, a failed adrenal. So remember, with medicine, it's kind of like you're either completely sick or you're not sick enough. You're well, but you're not bad enough. So there is an adrenal failure disease, Cushing's, which is where you don't produce any of your adrenal gland hormones. And so if you come back with a normal test against a disease like Cushing's, your doctor's going to say, you don't have adrenal fatigue because your adrenal glands are at least secreting some hormones. So we have to talk about this sort of, I'll call it, controversial diagnosis that could be an underlying root cause for you. Here's some fun facts, all right? In 1998, a chiropractor and naturopathic physician named Dr. James Wilson is the man who came up with the term hypoadrenia, which means that your adrenal glands are not working to their fullest functional capacity. So now you're also going to see, I think, why a lot of medicine is going to say, we don't agree with this, because if a naturopathic physician and a chiropractor figured it all out, and here we have the powers to be of medicine and research and all these journals, and we can't figure it out, then obviously it's a conflict of interest. According to Dr. Wilson, an overstimulation of your adrenal gland by chronic stress over time can lead to an inconsistent production of cortisol, which is your primary stress hormone. And if that happens and your bloodstream levels of cortisol start to shift, where it's either too high in certain periods or too low in others, it can lead to what's termed an adrenal fatigue disorder, where it can suck the living daylights out of you. Now, let me give you some example symptoms of what it might feel like to be in adrenal fatigue, and you'll see why this is so profound. Number one, it's going to feel like you are tired all the time, but specifically between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's that sort of lull in the midday. Number two, your hair is going to slightly fall out. Your brain can get foggy. Number three. Number four, you can have a weakened stress response. So like under normal circumstances, exercising or, going to do some sort of a long run, your body starts to crash. Weight gain, skin ailments, a whole host of things that we have to talk about today. And how do we identify if it's that or adrenal fatigue? That's our show for today. I'm going to give you all the tips and secrets. And listen, last week I did a giveaway that went so well. Over 150 people asked for our ebook, so I'm going to give it to you again for free today. It's a 4-week meal plan, a 4-week shopping guide, all the recipes to go with it. It's about a 90-page ebook, all of everything you need to have a healthy diet plan for the next 4 weeks, including our favorite recipes, yours free by texting your name and your email to 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
People are the heart of Jordan Essentials, and our products are the cornerstone. 100% of the population needs skincare in some shape or form, and of course there's a lot to choose from. So what makes Jordan Essentials different? We often like to say it's what we don't put in our products. We avoid harmful chemicals and pack our products with natural, botanical, beneficial solutions for you and your family.
How come there are people who drink a pint of whiskey a day for 20, 30 years, and at the end of it only 20 or 30% become cirrhotic? What happened to the others? And we speculated, we hypothesized, it's the enzyme, alcoholic dehydrogenase made by the stomach. Maybe it's different, maybe it's genes, maybe it's polymorphism. Mm-hmm. The answer appears to be coffee. If you drink that much alcohol and drink 1 cup of regular coffee a day, 20% reduction in alcoholic cirrhosis risk, 2 cups 40%, 4 cups 80%. It's not a license to drink heavily,
right?
And drink coffee and protect your liver. You could still get Korsakoff psychosis, cardiomyopathy, pancreatitis, kill people on the road, ruin your marriage, but it does protect the liver. It's pretty amazing.
Here's a secret your grocery store does not want you to know. At ThriveMarket.com, get up to 50% off all your organic groceries, delivered to your door for free. Shop organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and paleo. And get a free jar of coconut oil. Thrive Market. Wholesome products, wholesale prices. Get your free coconut oil today only at ThriveMarket.com.
Good afternoon. Happy back. Happy back. Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Hey, we can say happy back if we want. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and we are in the WBT studios coming at you live with some great information in regards to how to become your own physician, your own healer. We say this is a show where pounds are shed and disease is dead, and where you can be set free when you become your own physician and your own doctor by learning more about your health and more about yourself and taking the responsibility to take simple at-home action steps. Dietary changes, lifestyle changes, even some supplements that you can use to attack what I consider to be one of the most controversial, ominous conditions that you may have. It's just nobody's actually labeled it, called adrenal fatigue disorder, adrenal stress disorder, or just commonly known as chronic fatigue syndrome. This little tiny gland called your adrenal gland sits right on top of your kidneys. If you're watching our live stream, you can see a photo of it. Little tiny guy right on top of the kidneys, mostly made out of fat, and it produces over 50 hormones that help to regulate everything from your immune system response to your stress response to even things like your cholesterols, your blood sugars, and your blood pressure, and your overall health. So I think it's important that we discuss, how would we know if we have this issue? Okay, number one, 90% of Americans, when surveyed, have said at some point that they deal with an adrenal issue, in that they'll say they're tired and fatigued, having difficulty recovering. If you look at your day, and between 2 and 4 p.m. is when you find it's the hardest to be vibrant and alive, you may want to think about the fact that your adrenals are starting to show signs of deficiency. If you're that person who at night, when it's time to go to bed, 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, whatever, and you're just like, man, I am full. I could do a New York marathon tonight. I don't understand. In the afternoon, I'm dead to the world. But at night, woo, bring it on. I'm a night owl. Maybe not. Could be your adrenal glands. What we know is that one of the primary stress responses is cortisol. And when cortisol starts to elevate and fluctuate, it's an early indication that you're in the throes of adrenal fatigue. And chronic elevations of cortisol can lead to, listen to this, elevations in blood sugar. So it might be that your diabetes is not actually diabetes, but a symptom of a downstream effect of your adrenal glands. Cortisol is also an inflammatory, sort of irritating hormone, so it can elevate your blood pressure, your heart rates, and also create palpitations and faster beats of the heart because it's a stress response. If you're being chased by a lion and a tiger or a bear, not that we are anymore, but today it's email and your boss getting on to you and you're driving, road rage, etc. Well, you secrete these hormones that make your body productive into a flight or flight response. And when that's chronic, it's all the time excretions of this cortisol, and it can elevate things like blood pressure, heart rates, and other issues with your health. So what we tend to see is people that are taking medications for elevations, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugars, you name it. That could be an underlying indication that your adrenals are fatigued, and that could be the root cause. Some symptoms and things that could indicate that your adrenals need some love. Okay, number one, if you are always tired, that's why they call it chronic fatigue syndrome. I want you to think about your adrenal glands more than anything else. If your hair's falling out and you're getting a little brain foggy, most people will say that's a thyroid condition, but in fact, if you test your thyroid and it's normal, ding, 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 could be the adrenals. We tend to see an insulin resistance, which is pre-diabetes and also type 2 diabetes. We tend to see elevations in blood pressure, cholesterol, and triglycerides, or metabolic syndrome. Again, it could be that the root cause is not a deficiency in medications. You're not lacking Lipitor or Crestor or Simvastatin. You might just need to support your adrenal glands, and everything normalizes itself out. Difficulty losing weight, big issue with adrenal fatigue. What we would call chronic cravings for sweet and salty foods. That's not just sort of that like, hey, I need something as a quick pick-me-up. I'm craving that. When your adrenal glands start to fatigue out, you have a really difficult time regulating your minerals, including salts and sodium, potassium, magnesium, etc. And deficiencies in those minerals can lead to you having these cravings for foods that are also sweet and salty. We also see a massive issue for men with testosterone. So for low T, I want you to think that's an adrenal issue. Hands down, 100% direct. Research is evident. When your testosterone is decreasing, what's happening is you're stealing the hormone to make the other hormones that you're deficient in because the adrenal gland is under stress. Same thing with women. If your progesterone levels are off balance or your estrogen levels are off balance, if you have a hormone issue, if you've been diagnosed with some sort of condition that requires you to take a bioidentical hormone, I want you to think about your adrenal glands as being the major issue. Now, there are some tests that you can run or you can have run for you to help you see what is your adrenal gland physically doing. And I want to be kind of clear to you that you may have to do this test on your own. It has a lot to do with doing urine samples throughout the day. And my favorite of them all, because you can go right now online and buy this, is called the Dutch test. And what it does is it gives you a result so you can see exactly how much cortisol and DHEA is in your urine at various times throughout the day. And what it does is it helps to graph it out in a very beautiful presentation. You're going to get this massive report. And it's extremely easy to read, and even the lab itself will give you cheat sheets and guides on how to do this. Now remember, we're doing a call to action here for you to become your own doctor. So if you're saying, well, what physician's office do I go to and order this test with? Your house. Well, how do I do that? And do I have to do blood? No, it's urine. Well, how do I do that? Well, you're going to just pee into a small cup and you take a strip. Looks a lot like a chlorine test kit if you've ever done that for your swimming pool. Dip it in, pull it out, let it dry, and it goes into an envelope, and you do this multiple times throughout the day. So we can see what your levels are all throughout the day, morning, mid-afternoon, evening, and night. Now, I hope you would realize that hormones move all over the place. So if you've only done a single test, like, well, I went to my doctor and my testosterone was tested and it was good. Well, it might have been good at 9 a.m., but what about at 4 p.m. or at 7 p.m.? So hormones move. Really important you understand this. So if you go get this test called a Dutch test, D-U-T-C-H, they have a male version and a female version. It can show you outright in a second the stages of decay for your adrenal glands, which, by the way, it's estimated that up to 90% of Americans are in some level of adrenal fatigue stress disorders right now. So why would it be important for us to do this? Well, if you want to bounce back from cholesterol issues or high blood pressure or triglyceride problems or, diabetes, etc., remember, it's probably the fact that your adrenal glands are under a massive stress. We're going to talk about how to solve that stress, but first we have to figure out where are you at. So here's our cheat sheet for this. Get the test done. Dutch test. I think it's just dutchtest.com. Go to the website, order one that's either male or female, and they'll ship it straight to your house. Collect your urine throughout the day, put the little dipsticks into it, and mail it off to the lab. In approximately about 7 to 10 days, you'll get an entire panel back that will show you where you're at. Now, here's how we color coordinate this, all right? Number one, if your cortisol is high and your DHEA, which is a hormone that is a precursor for all major hormones in your body, is elevated, if both are high, you're in what's called the early alarm state. That would be kind of phase one. Now, I'm going to be transparent with you. Almost all of us are in this early alarm state. It's worth paying attention to this because it's easiest to fix this now. Some simple diet, some lifestyle changes, chiropractic care, acupuncture, massage, yoga, Pilates, and a few supplements and some diet shifts, and you can solve this really quick. All right, what we call phase two, which is an alarm phase, is if your cortisol is high, but your DHEA is normal, you need to really raise your eyebrows and go, uh-oh, I am beginning to enter into what's called adrenal resistance. I'm already in an alarm state. I've passed the initial phase of deficiency. I'm in the throes of beginning to see a decrease in my production. High cortisol, normal DHEA. Now, when you get into the range of what's known as full-blown adrenal fatigue, called phase 3 or stage 3, then it means that your cortisol levels are dropping and your DHEA levels are dropping. So you would see low cortisol and low DHEA. Now, there are going to be reference ranges on the lab, and it's going to show you how low it is, but if it's extremely low, let's say your cortisol is close to 0 and your DHEA is close to 0, that is full-blown stage 4 adrenal fatigue, full exhaustion. And sadly, 20 to 30% of the people I work with are already in that. And here's the challenge. They're coming in saying, Doc, I get major headaches. My joints hurt. My back hurts. My hormones are all over the place. My doctor's got me on 3 medications, and I'm trying to figure out how do I solve this? And we run tests like what I just described to you to help you find root causes. And if this is you, if you're going, yes, I'm tired all the time, I'm fatigued, I can't seem to get my brain focused, I can't lose weight, I'm taking a medication, I'm in the throes of this illness that I can't seem to shake, none of my doctors have been able to figure out what's wrong with me, it's your adrenal glands. So listen, when we come back from this next commercial break, I'm going to break down the adrenal diet that's going to help you to bounce back fast. We're going to talk about supplements you can use immediately to start turning your hormones around and get you back into a normal state for healing. That's what I have coming up on our next segment. And right now, I'm throwing down an offer for our free 4-week guide. It's a meal plan, shopping list, and all the recipes that will support not only an adrenal diet, but a healing diet. 100% free. Text over your name and your email address to 704-906-2094. You can also call it, but the best is the text. Name and email, 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Today, Monticello has a population of 126. It's a small enough town, everybody knows everybody. There are no stoplights in Monticello, so if you're driving too fast, you're going to miss it. But if you happen to turn in, you're going to run across a great Protestant church that has services every Sunday morning. You can go to the post office, and the postmaster's name is Randy. He's always glad to see you. Everybody in town knows everybody. When you walk in the bank, you're called to by your first name. You're not just an account number. We've started the business there 10 years ago, and very slowly, surely, we've built up a business that actually reaches out and touches all 50 states and several foreign countries. At the turn of the century, diabetes was almost non-existent. But if you turn the clock up 100 years to 2000, we have runaway epidemic of diabetes. When I went to school, nobody had ADD. I mean, you look at the modern school today, you've got kids taking medicine, and this is all driven off of diet. And it's so simple just to get back to the foundations of good, healthy diet, and by consuming, grass-fed beef, organic vegetables, getting away from processed foods. This is a paddock move. These animals are coming into this paddock. This has been at rest for probably 30 days, and as soon as they come in here, you can watch their habits. They're going to put their nose down. They're going right after high quality forage.
What I've done here today is give them a fresh strip of grass controlled by this tape over here. This has given them a very consistent ration from day to day. This is an example of what they're getting to eat right now.
But you can just observe the humor of the animals. This is the happiest time of the day. I call it ice cream and cookies. Looking down on the ground, on the landscape here, we have a lot of clovers. We've got annual forages, perennial forages, and a lot of the native forages have come back. The blue stems, the Indian grasses, they're much more prevalent in June and July, but the old seed stock is here. But if we manage the landscape like it should be managed, 25% of the public has never heard of CLA, but it's one of the best kept secrets in agriculture in these grazing animals. You get it from grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, grass-fed bison. And you might ask, what does CLA do? A very unique compound, one of the best things you could consume from the standpoint of cancer. It's very effective against cancer. It's very effective against diabetes. Research out of Purdue has documented that. A lot of animal trials, now human trials. And most interestingly, it actually helps the body put on lean muscle and reduce fat. 90% of the cattle in this country or more end up going into a commercial feedlot where they're slowly converted from a grazing diet over to a starch diet. When you fill the animal full of starch, you completely change the chemistry of the finished product, and you end up with an omega-6-3 ratio 20-1, 18-1, and the CLA production is almost nil because of the starch diet.
I don't think that you can beat this example right here where the sun's energy is producing this grass, and this grass is producing these cattle without having any antibiotics, growth promotants, or grain fed to them.
Grass-fed beef is a unique opportunity for you to take control of your health. I've taken control of my health over the last 10 years. I feel better, I feel stronger. Our animals eat right, so you can too.
Purity Coffee is setting a new standard for healthy coffee. We lab test to be free of pesticides, mold, and mycotoxins, and we roast for high antioxidant and low acrylamide levels. When it comes to your coffee, purity matters. You will be able to taste and feel the difference. For first-time customers, we are offering 15% off new orders with the code YouTube. A lot of our customers say that purity makes them feel as good as it tastes.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and woo, we are having a hot topic today. Not only are we getting a great response to our free offer, so if you're just tuning in, I want to make sure you're aware of this. Last week, I gave away access to an ebook that my team and myself wrote that includes a 4-week done for you breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and dessert meal plan. Every day of the week for a month, we've laid your entire menu out. We're giving you all the recipes that match that. Not only are these recipes part of what we could call the show topic, our adrenal fatigue diet to help you bounce back with energy and lose weight and feel great, but it's also a key component of what I call the cellular healing plan. This is a diet that I've seen help support people not only with weight loss, but again, diabetes down, cholesterol down, energy up, blood pressure down, skin clear, hair lustrous. It's an ability to sort of feed you with nutrition that's designed specifically for healing. You get the 4-week meal plan. You get the shopping guides so that when you're walking up and down the aisles of the grocery store, you know what to get and what not to get. You have a full list. And you get all of the recipes that match the foods that we've laid out for you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and dessert. Yes, there are healthy desserts. Yes, there's wonderful items and foods you can eat that bring a level of zest and life and healing. It's completely free, but in order for me to give it to you, I need your name and your email address. So real simple. Text over to your name and your email address to 704-906-2094. Again, first, last name, email, 704-906-2094. You can also call the call line. My call center will receive it. They'll get your information. We'll send it over to you. Again, absolutely free, can change your life. I've had a lot of our patients and clients say it was a major revolution in their view of how food is incorporating into their health. And again, it's yours free. So at the top of the hour, we talked about our topic being adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue and how many Americans struggle with their energy. And yet often when it gets really bad, we'll go to our physicians, we'll try to ask them to investigate and try to discover what it is. And the last diagnosis you leave with is, yep, you've got a chronic fatigue adrenal symptom issue. And so what we're going to do is we're going to support your adrenal glands and we're going to help you to bounce back. Usually it's the opposite. We're getting diagnosed with the subsets that are resulting from having an adrenal fatigue disorder. High cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood pressures, you name it, and most of us leave with a prescription. So instead of doing that, I want you to recognize that your adrenal glands are trying to heal you. But what often happens is they're deficient and they're overworked because of all the food stress you put in, all the chemical stresses you put in, and all of your life and or emotional stresses that are in you because of how you deal with your day. One of the most important changes you can make is decreasing your food stresses. And I'm going to share with you some research that's relatively new, connecting the dots between lectins and adrenal fatigue disorder. Now, if you don't know what a lectin is, it's a whole show in and of itself. So go on my website, AskDrErnst.com, type in lectin, Lectin. You can read all about these. But lectins are I'll call it a toxin, if you will, that is found within certain food groups that tend to irritate and aggravate your health. And what you're going to hear is that this is going to explain why we constantly say you have to go grainless. You have to get the corn and the wheat and the rice and the oats and all this stuff out of your diet, because not only is it high in gluten, but it's also extremely high in lectins. Lectins have been found to cause an inflammatory process that can irritate and create a chemical stress response in your body that over time can stress your adrenal glands, leading to an adrenal fatigue disorder. What are the grains that we need to cut out? Well, flour, buckwheat, rye, spelt, wheat, oats, and the grains of rice, both brown and white. What about the animals that are fed grains? Well, they're going to be high in lectins as well, so we want to get rid of all grain-fed animal sources. Be careful, too. A lot of dairy can have lectins inside of it. So that's milk and sour cream and frozen yogurts, ice creams and cheese, and even cottage cheeses, etc. Here's the challenge. A lot of what you would consider to be healthy foods are actually high in lectins. So I'm talking about beans and legumes. So even things like chickpeas and kidney beans and lentils, peanuts and soybeans, while a lot of you are saying, oh, it's a vegetable, it's really good for me, it's healthy, not for your adrenal glands, lectins have been shown to cause a stress load to the adrenals. Lectins are also high in various oils that we've talked about multiple times that you want to eliminate: canola, corn, peanut, safflower, sunflower, and grapeseed oils. Sadly, and this is going to come as a shock to some of you, if you're dealing with an energy issue and you're trying to get out of it, we have to watch out for nuts and seeds. Almonds, cashews, pine nuts, sunflower seeds, and sesame seeds are extremely high in lectins. So I got a lot to talk to you guys about. The foods to eliminate, which to add, and the best part is, how do we incorporate a supplemental program to support our energy and heal our adrenal glands? All that is coming up next in just a moment. And don't forget, right now is your opportunity to register and receive our free ebook. It is a 4-week healing plan, all the menus you need, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and dessert, all the shopping lists to show you exactly what to get at the grocery stores, and a foolproof plan with over 90 recipes just for you. 704-906-2094. Text your name and your email, and we'll send it straight to you. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
So this is the difference between biodynamic and conventional farming. Let's look at the difference in vineyards here. You have very green grass and herbs and life growing, and then dead soil over here. So this is a conventional vineyard where they spray pesticides, they use a lot of tractors to pull up the soil. This soil is dead, it's dry. There's no life. This is Klaus's vineyard. It's farmed biodynamically. Everything is picked by hand and they don't use any chemicals. So there's life, there's green grass, everything grows. This is the big disparity between conventional farming and biodynamic farming, and you can see it perfectly side by side. We prefer this wine, of course, because this wine is dead. There's nothing living in it.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're tuning in to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. If you're joining us from the top of the hour, we're continuing the conversation into adrenal fatigue or adrenal stress disorders, also known as chronic fatigue disorders or chronic fatigue syndrome. It's a mouthful, isn't it? There's so many different names. And we're talking about how this little tiny gland about the size of a walnut that sits on top of your kidneys secretes over 50 hormones that regulate massive components to your health. And in the world of functional medicine, I want to share with you one thing. We often look to adrenals and their ability to handle your day-to-day life as being a root cause. Why? Well, there's hormones secreted by the adrenal glands that regulate your blood sugar. So if you have type 2 diabetes or you're leading to prediabetes, it might actually be an adrenal issue. It also regulates your blood pressure and your heart rates and your rhythms. So if you have some sort of cardiovascular issue, elevated blood pressure, or you got a cholesterol problem, or you have an arrhythmia, it may actually be your adrenal glands. Lastly, it secretes all of our major energy-producing hormones. Adrenaline is one, norepinephrine, even dopamine, which gives you a reward sense. So if you have issues with anxiety or depression or just generalized fatigue disorders, it may be your adrenal gland. And here's the challenge. A lot of the nutrients I'm going to start sharing with you have been shown to be extremely deficient in the average American. As an example, did you know that 80% of Americans aren't getting enough magnesium in their diet, and it is the major mineral and vitamin that helps your adrenal glands to fight back. Did you also know that potassium, it sounds strange, doesn't it? Potassium, something so simple. 90% of Americans are deficient in potassium. And the challenge is, I say to you, what's a food high in potassium? You're probably going to say banana, but in fact, it's one of the lowest healthy foods that's high in potassium. Spinach is 2 times higher. Avocado is 3 times higher. So we're going to teach you some things right now about how to incorporate what I call the adrenal foods that are going to help you bounce back, fight back, get your energy back, and prevent you from going down the throes of this adrenal fatigue disorder. We talked briefly about lectins. If you don't know about them, look, because of the time frame, I'm in a crunch to finish this within the top of the hour. Go to my website, askdrernst.com, type in lectin. You're going to learn all about them. You're going to see the foods that are high. We got to get rid of them. And then you're going to see the foods that are low. And guess what? These are what I call healing foods, adrenal supporting foods, energy foods. All right, so here we go. We want to cut out all the grains, so wheat, rice, corn, soy, oats, brown rice, etc. And we want to cut our bean consumption way down. I know it's tough, right? Chickpeas, kidney beans, lentils, mung beans. They're high in lectins, which can stress your adrenal glands out. We need to get rid of the oils that many of us are hopefully not using anymore, but canola, corn, cottonseed, grapeseed, peanuts, safflower, and sunflower oils. And we got to get rid of all nightshades. I really want to spend just a brief moment about nightshades. Nightshades are really high in lectins. And because this lectin inflammatory process can interfere with how your brain responds to stress, the number one lectin food to get rid of is corn. That's a nightshade. Number 2 is cucumbers. I know it's hard, right? Wait, I thought cucumbers are good. Eggplants. I thought they were. Nope. Green peppers, red peppers. It's a nightshade. Zucchinis, tomatoes, squash. It's going to sound hard, but if you're going, I've changed my diet, I'm eating great, but yet I still feel like I'm falling apart. My energy's gone. I'm tapped out. It could be a lectin issue, and you're irritating your adrenal glands. So tomatoes, gone. Zucchini, out. Squash, pumpkin, peppers, eggplants, cucumbers, corn, out. So what can we put back in? Well, listen, if it's green, it's usually low in lectins. So all of your greens. Okay, second, we can also incorporate various nuts and seeds that are actually extremely low in lectins, but very supportive of your adrenal glands. Coconut, macadamia nut, walnut. I wonder why. Well, the adrenal gland's about the size of a walnut. In fact, it kind of looks like a walnut. So walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds. These are really good anti-inflammatory seeds. And then the oils that come from those. So we have coconut and olive and avocado, macadamia nut, walnut oils, and even the more popular red palm oils. Really good for your adrenal glands. Unfortunately, there are no beans that are good for your adrenal glands. So be careful if you're doing a lot of, again, beans or chickpeas or lentils and things like that. And then when it comes to grains, the only ones that are acceptable would be sort of like grainless items, cassava, coconut, and the various nut flours. But we have to be careful not to do almond. Almond's not so good for your adrenal glands. And then we want to focus on grass-fed, wild-caught, and free-range poultry and meat products. Now, what about the supplements we can use? Okay, so the research is very clear and evident that you need to take some adaptogenic herbs because they can help you to adapt to the stressors being placed into your life, which can overwork your adrenal glands. Some of the most powerful adaptogenic herbs include licorice root, which has been shown to increase DHEA and decrease cortisol. Now remember, in the beginning, we have an elevation with both of them, and that's a normal response. But the first reaction and the first indication sign that you are getting into adrenal fatigue is your DHEA levels drop. And the reason this is important is it's a precursor hormone for all other hormones. So if DHEA is going down, you're losing sensitivity with insulin. You're losing the ability to regulate your minerals. And so we see sugars elevate. We see pressures elevate. We also see hormones tend to shoot all over the place. Men, our testosterone drops. Women, our estrogen goes a little too high and progesterone goes down. And what starts to happen is you get early signs of menopause. If you're getting into that age, you have really heavy periods and you have a lot of PMS if that's the case. The research shows that you can take licorice as an extract called deglycerized licorice, and it helps to significantly give your adrenal glands some rest and some energy. We want to use this and monitor things like your blood pressure, your sugars, and your cholesterols because it's so powerful that sometimes what happens is you see an instant drop in symptoms because it affects how your adrenal gland is working. Another really good one is fish oils. Now, it's specifically the EPA and the DHA oils that we're looking for. There are several studies showing that if you supplement with the right types of fish oils, you can see a huge change in symptoms associated with adrenal fatigue. That includes things like, again, high blood pressure, high blood sugars, pain in your joints and arthritis, skin issues. Often it's either eczema or psoriasis or some sort of plaquing of the skin, and again, anxiety and or depression. Potassium is another essential mineral, and there have been several studies done, even some within the Journal of American Cardiology, etc., showing that, again, 90% of Americans are deficient in potassium. And before you run out and start eating a ton of bananas that are high in sugar, remember, potassium is found in even higher rates in avocados and spinach and other of our leafy green vegetables, kale, chard, dandelion, even Brussels sprouts and broccoli. Now, the important thing here is to recognize you go out and you get your average potassium supplements, and you're going to see maybe like 100 milligrams, maybe 50, maybe 150, and you might say, okay, I'm getting enough. Well, the research that was done is evident that we need upwards in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams of potassium on a daily basis if we want to help to support our adrenal glands and to see major changes within our health. So just recognize you have a 90% chance you're not getting enough potassium in your diet. So let's start doing more of the high potassium foods and start supplementing with at least 1,000 milligrams of potassium. Magnesium, absolutely essential for your adrenal glands to perform daily function. And magnesium is also a really good soother and a relaxer. Again, 80% of Americans are not getting enough magnesium in their daily intake through their food or their supplementation. Magnesium can be done anywhere between 500 to 1,000 milligrams on a daily basis, best at night, because again, what we tend to see is the people that have adrenal fatigue issues have a really hard time resting and falling asleep. Magnesium works so much better at helping you to fall asleep than any other major supplementation, including things like melatonin or other sleep stimulants. One easy way to get a ton of magnesium before you go to sleep is to take an Epsom salt bath. Very easy to do. Cup or two of Epsom salts into a hot bath. Soak for about 30 minutes. Helps to wind you down. Helps you to get into the rhythm of falling asleep. Some other big ones that are essential. Vitamin C. Again, most of us are deficient. Vitamin D. Most of us are deficient. Selenium. There was a major study done where they found that selenium deficiencies can negatively impact your energy, A, because it affects your thyroid hormones and the conversion of thyroid hormones into the active forms, and B, it prevents your body from having a natural response through the adrenal glands to the stresses that you have. So if we're highly stressed, we secrete a tremendous amount of cortisol, and then our DHEA levels start to drop. And what selenium can do is lower the cholesterol and cortisol levels and help to elevate the DHEA levels. Several essential oils have also been very helpful if you're dealing with adrenal stress disorders. 2 specifically, lavender oil has multiple studies showing it has a calming effect and a soothing effect, which helps to lower cortisol levels when both rubbed on feet and skin and also diffused at night. Rosemary, the same thing. Multiple studies showing it affects cortisol. Wow, where has the time gone? So there is so much more information available for you. If you'd like more information about how to bounce back from adrenal fatigue disorders, head on over to AskDrErnst.com, type in adrenal fatigue, and bam, there's all of our studies, all of our articles and everything. And this is your last chance to get our free offer for our ebook and our health guide. 4 weeks of breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and dessert already laid out for you. 4 weeks of all your shopping guides already laid out for you. And over 90 recipes that will help to support every single meal to get you energy, life, abundance, grace, and vibrance, as well as weight loss and changes for your health. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.